This is taking a while. Taking a while. All right. Hello, everyone. Just waiting for people to join us. What's up? How's everybody doing at home? I think I figured out my microphone situation today. Yesterday I was using the built-in microphone on my webcam, which is pretty bad. Today I'm using a less terrible mic. How old am I? Well, someone answered for me. Apparently I'm 77. More or less accurate. What is my FT name? What is an FT name? I don't know what an FT name is. Don't forget to close the door. I'll try not to kill everyone immediately. So I think today I've decided on doing a few of the missions just to reacquaint myself with this game. And I think this Rome Naples, actually no, there is another mission. It's a little bit easier. Introduction to Jets, 20 minutes. I think I'm going to run this first. I've done this before apparently. It should be pretty easy. What's my WeChat? I'm not giving you my WeChat. I only talk to my grandma on that. Oh, what am I on Flyer Talk? Ooh, I can't remember that right now. I'm usually stalking other people on Flyer Talk. I'm not very active when it comes to saying stuff on there. Do the landing in the St. Martin mission? Okay, I'll do that. That's St. Martin's Princess Juliana International Airport, I think. It's the mission everybody got. Do I make the animations in the beginning of my videos? Yes, I do. I make everything in my videos myself. Apart from... Actually, no, I make everything in the videos myself. I will make a tutorial at some point as to how to do animations or route maps. And... oh boy.
This flight is just...
And I think at that point... I want to see how many other people who do trip reports watch that and start making their own. That would be interesting to see. Is YouTube my main job? Says Hossein Al-Asadi. No, YouTube is not my main job. If YouTube was my main job, I'd be on the streets. It doesn't make that much money. Very little at all. Am I from Vancouver? Yes. I grew up in Vancouver for a couple years in my childhood. I think between 2000 and... between 04 and 07, I lived there full time. Not that I had any choice. It was dictated by my parents' work situation. But on and off, I go back, and I've been there almost at least once every year for my entire life, mostly. What is my job? Okay, I'm going to wait until more people get in here because telling people what my job is both takes a massive amount of time and is incredibly confusing for some. So I'll wait a little bit. What is my favorite plane? 787-10. Some of these questions I've answered yesterday, so I'll skip to more interesting ones once I figure this out. All right, I'm going to unpause this.
Repositioning from Edinburgh to Glasgow without any passengers on board. A good opportunity to get you checked out on the Bombardier CRJ 700. While we're waiting in line for takeoff, I'll explain a few things. Flying a modern jet isn't really all that different from flying a small prop plane. There are just a handful of key differences.
I'm going to turn off the no smoking
signs.
signs.
The first thing you'll notice is how different the instrument
And
panel
let's see what
looks.
happens.
Instead of many small, round mechanical instruments, there are just a few large computer screens. Most of the information is the same, but the presentation is different.
I think we're going to fly this manually. I'm in the CRJ-700.
Was for another aircraft. We're Orbit 526. I'll handle the radios during this flight.
For those of you who don't know, I've interned a Bombardier for a couple months during my undergrad.
It combines multiple
Great company.
into one display. The blue and brown
Not as French as you think it is.
An attitude indicator. The vertical tape on the left
Makes
side
great
shows
airplanes
airspeed,
and subway
the tape
cars
on
and
the right
trains,
side shows altitude.
and snowmobiles. Snowmobiles is actually how Bombardier started off, and to go from that to regional jets is probably the most Canadian thing a company can do.
You'll love them. The display to the right of the PFD is the navigation display, which shows a top-down view.
Hang on, I'm just gonna pop out my chat real quick. Have I met any celebs on flights?
Relative to navigational aids and the flight
I ran
plan
into
router.
Chris Hadfield
You can change
once.
how the map
I
looks
think
by using the
Nick
format
Jonas was
and
on a
range
flight
knobs
that
on
I
the
was
left side of
on.
the panel.
I don't,
Try
and
it
like I
now if
noticed
you want
these
to.
things, but I wouldn't go up and approach them. And I think I saw a few other people I recognized. A lot
Third
of
display is the
engine
engine indication and crew alerting system, or ICAS.
athletes
The
I've
default page shows
recognized
engine
on
information,
flights, whether they
gear
be
and
hockey
clamp
players,
position,
NFL
fuel
players,
quantity, and warning and
or
caution
whatnot.
messages. You can scroll through the different ICAS screens by clicking the up and down buttons.
But I get my
at the bottom of
PPL,
the
yes,
display.
I am
Each
looking
screen
forward to
provides
getting that at
information
some
about a
point
different
in
aircraft
life.
system.
But definitely not something I have time for right now. I want to get it
For
over
this
and
flight,
done with
keep
over the
the
course
engine
of
gauges
like
showing on the ICAS.
an extended
The
summer.
top gauges are labeled N1. As we fly, I'll give you suggested thrust settings. Use your joystick throttle lever or the F2 and F3 keys to move the N1 needles to
Well,
the settings
plane
I
companies
suggest.
have the best seats.
The rows of buttons and knobs just below the windshield is the mode control
In
panel
my
for the
experience,
autopilot.
Lufthansa
We won't
Technik,
be
when it
using the
comes to
autopilot
their
on
private
display,
jets,
so don't
I
worry
think
about any of
they
that
make
for
some
now.
king size and queen size beds that they can put on
A
planes.
big difference
So
between
I'd
jets
like to
and
think
piston
that they have the
aircraft
best
is that in a
seats.
jet, the engines take a while to spool up. This means that if you add or reduce thrust, there will be a slight
Have I
delay
flown
before
Mitch
your
in
engine
Norway?
has
No, I
any
haven't.
effect.
I've been in
This
Oslo
fact,
before. That
combined with
is
the jet's higher speed, means that you
as
need to
far
plan ahead.
into Norway as I've ever ventured. Ugh, can't speak. I said this yesterday. I would like to drive down your Atlantic
Jets have
highway
flaps just
up
like
north
piston
through the
aircraft.
islands.
They're used during
Seems like a
takeoff
very
and
fun
landing
thing to do.
increase both lift
Very
and
beautiful
drag.
place to go.
Lower the flaps to 20
Okay.
degrees for takeoff
Alright,
now
that's,
by pressing the F7 key 3
nice
times.
sprightly.
You can see the flap indicator on the ICAS.
Okay, alright. I'm not doing this properly.
We'll hold short 6 right, orbit 526. Okay, follow the 737 ahead of us, but hold short of the runway. Release the brakes by pressing the period key and
Great
apply some thrust
texture
to get us going.
glitching.
Good. Stop here. One last thing. During the takeoff roll, I'll call out 4 speeds. When I call 80 knots, glance at your airspeed tape to verify it's moving and indicating approximately the same speed as mine. When I call V1,
I use
it means
Premiere
we're at
Pro
the speed where we're
to
committed to taking off.
edit my videos. I use After Effects for the motion graphics.
There isn't enough runway to stop at that point. When I say rotate, gently pull back on the stick and rotate the nose into the air. Finally, I'll call V2 when we reach the minimum safety speed at which we can safely climb on just one engine if there's a failure.
World Travel 221, winds calm, clear to take off.
World Travel 221, rolling.
Orbit 526, taxi into position and hold.
Position and hold, orbit 526. Okay, we're cleared to taxi onto the runway, but not to take off yet. Taxi ahead and turn right onto the runway. Stop once you're on the runway and lined up with the center line.
Ooh, that is a lot
Press
of...
Shift 5 to display the overhead panel and
I
turn on
didn't
the
do that
landing light
properly.
by clicking the
It's
switch in the
okay,
lower
it's
left
alright.
corner.
There's no one in the back.
Then press Shift 5 again to close the overhead. Before we take off, let's review exactly what will happen. You'll control the aircraft, I'll handle the radios. I'll call out 80 knots, V1, rotate, and V2. When I say rotate, gently pull back on the stick to raise the nose to 15 degrees nose up on the primary flight display. I'll tell you to retract the landing gear once we're climbing. Once Once we reach 1,000 feet above the runway, I'll tell you to pitch down to 10 degrees nose up and to
That's my
raise the
favorite
flaps so
ground
we can
to
accelerate.
use for my
Our
videos.
initial climb will be to our cruise altitude of 6,000 feet, and the departure controller will probably tell us to make a
It's not
left turn
ringing
to
a
the
bell
west.
as to what
I'll
that
let
word
you know
could
when
be.
to turn.
How am I doing in life? I'm doing great in life. I'm not dead, so I'd call that a
Takeoff,
victory.
Orbit 526.
Did he say
Alright,
takeoff?
we're clear to
Okay,
go.
we're gonna
When you're
do
ready,
this.
use the throttle lever on your joystick or press the F3 key to add thrust. Start with 50% N1. Let the engine stabilize and then
Oh,
increase
screw
thrust
that.
to
I'm going to
100%.
100% N1. And we're not centered on the
80
runway.
knots.
Is he gonna call that rotate? I don't remember.
V1.
Ooh, that's a little too much
Rotate.
N1.
Slowly pitch up to 15 degrees.
Oh boy. Alright.
V2.
Over controlling
You're
pretty hard.
over-controlling. Use less pressure on the stick. Positive rate, gear up. Raise the landing gear by pressing the G key.
So I did lube up my stick earlier.
Orbit 526.
Still kind of noisy.
Orbit 526, switching. Okay, move the stick to adjust pitch to 10 degrees nose up on the primary flight display.
10
and raise the
degrees.
flaps.
Is that enough?
Reduce thrust to about 80% N1 to keep our speed below 250 knots. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Edinburgh departure, Orbit 526 with you, climbing to 6,000.
Oh, we're
Orbit
doing this
526.
completely manually. That's fine.
Orbit 526, turn left, heading 270.
Left to
The
270.
Chinese Communist Party destroyed the world economy.
Okay, it's time for the
I
turn.
disagree with you on
Make a
that.
nice easy left turn
I fucked
until
up my
our heading
AC
is
shares. Well,
270
I bought my
degrees.
AC shares
That's due
pretty
west.
cheap.
Level off at
So I
6,000
think
feet
I'll
and
be
reduce
alright.
thrust to about 60% N1. That should give us about 250 knots.
Drone. Oh, what drone do I have? When I was in Istanbul, I have a Phantom 4 at home.
Landing gear up.
That is way too big to travel with. When I was in Istanbul, I rented a Mavic 2 Pro, and I think I'm going to get one of those.
This is standard practice below 10,000 feet.
Antonio, Montana, I get my tickets paid for by work. Oh, I think we're supposed to go to 6,000 feet. Oh boy.
Orbit 526, resume own navigation.
Don't
Alright.
exceed 250 knots below 10,000
Let's do
feet.
this.
Thrust set to 80% N1 for the climb. After takeoff checklist complete.
Ah, much easier.
Resume own navigation, Orbit 526. All right, we've been told to resume our own navigation. This means the controller will no longer be giving us vectors, and we should follow our filed flight plan. Our flight plan route takes us to a point that will line us up for an approach to
This doesn't
Glasgow's
work.
runway 23, which is currently the active runway. You can use the mission compass to navigate to that point, or you can follow our flight plan on the map page of the navigation display. The pink line on the screen is the path we should be following.
I don't think that's correct, but alright. Let's change our heading. What does that look like? It's west of 270. How violently are we going to bank if I do this? Oh, not so violently. Awesome. 269. Perfect. What is the best plane I have flown? I've barely flown any planes. What's the best plane I've flown on? That would be a tie between a 787 and a 350. They're both fantastic. Am I based in Toronto? I am based in Toronto. How do the QC700s hold up? So the QC35s, which I'm using right now, are fantastic. They've been that way ever since they became wireless after the QC25s. The Bose Headphones 700, they sound better. The noise canceling is noticeably better. Not by much, but it's still noticeable, is what I mean by that. I don't like how they're touch controlled. That's not as intuitive nor tactile as having buttons. I guess it's cooler and it's more hip, but maybe not as practical. And I think the reason they did name them the Bose Headphone 700 instead of the QC45s or whatever is because they didn't want it to exactly replace these ones. They wanted them to exist at the same time, perhaps. What yoke do I use for the sim? A yoke of incompetence. Sorry, no, this is the X55s from SATEC. It's not a yoke, it's a stick. I used to play Arma quite a bit, and I have a throttle. In 1992, Captain let you hold the yoke of a 737, let you program the autopilot. Oh, that's fun. Those days are over, but I've been told by my Norwegian and Scandinavian, Nordic, however you guys want to associate that, those friends, that in certain parts of the world, Norway and Sweden, for example, you can still fly jump seat. People will still let you do that, which is kind of cool. Have I met Sandspotter? No. What is my favorite Chinese restaurant in GT? I don't know right now. I have a few. I don't remember their names because they're in Chinese. If you do speak Chinese, there's this one place in Markham called Sichuan Huayuan, or Sichuan Jiuyuan. I don't know. I don't remember what it exactly it's called. That one's pretty good. I can play X-Play next stream. I'd have to install that and get used to that, and I'm not sure. I might play something else next stream. Later on tonight, I am supposed to have my friend who's an airline pilot share a cockpit with me in FSX, and you guys can ask him questions. But that is still tentative. He's flying to St. Louis right now, I think, from Dallas. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to make it. Mr. Odin Griffin, be careful what you say, because I might actually take you up on that. I do live in Toronto. Have I ever flown on Concorde? No, the Concorde was discontinued on my birthday in 2003. I think my parents did want to take me on that before it went out of service, but it went out of service a couple years sooner than we'd expected, and it was incredibly expensive back then. I live in downtown Toronto, near the University of Toronto. Watch my speed. Oh, you're right. It's kind of low. This thing doesn't have auto throttle on. What is my speed supposed to be? 250 knots? Seems a little high. All right. Oh no, that's just what the autopilot is set at. All right, let's do 220, so we don't get there too quickly. Thank you for telling me to watch my speed. It would have been fun if I stalled though. Oh wow. Okay, I will. I'll talk to you afterwards, Mr. Odin. And if you do take me flying, then I have to pay for fuel. That is the rule. I know it's expensive, but that's my rule with friends giving me rides. Oh, let me pause. What am I planning for my next video? I think I'm gonna edit my WestJet video, WestJet Premium, their new seats. It was a little bit disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. Especially after having flown under Dreamliner. But that's my next video. Fuel is absolutely not expensive right now. No. Am I a Boeing fan or an Airbus fan? I'm a GE fan. I'm kidding, that's a terrible joke. I like the 787, I like the A350. I don't like the 767, that plane doesn't really, I don't understand that plane. I don't understand the A330 either. So I don't lean to either of those companies. Although, someone did send me a prop from Boeing. This is a prop propeller, and it's also a letter opener, and it spins. It spins. It spins. It spun. Do I drive and am I into cars? I do get into cars and I do drive. I don't have a car right now. I'm not that big into cars, although I will appreciate a beautiful car. I grew up in Saudi Arabia where a lot of friends of mine had very nice cars. Our student parking lot was populated with Astons and Ferraris and McLarens. So those were my car days. Those days are now gone. What's my favorite alliance? I think people's favorite alliance would be a result of their geographic consequence of where they live. So mine would be Star Alliance. And I think in a lot of places in the world, Star Alliance would be the go-to alliance for a lot of people who travel a lot, just because it covers every continent quite comprehensively, except for Australia. What's my favorite business class? It'd be a tie between Cathay Pacific and Qatar. How is Corona in Canada? Well, we're taking it quite seriously up here. We had 5,000 cases yesterday morning, so today that's probably higher. We're doing all right. We're doing a lot better than our southern neighbors. Am I off course? I feel like I'm off
Orbit
course.
526. Contact Glasgow approach on 119.1.
119.
Orbit 526 switching.
Okay, so
Thanks.
the AI is going to do that.
Glasgow approach. Orbit 526 with you.
Orbit 526.
Do I know Arabic?
Good morning.
Ana Arabic Mafi Kwes. I can swear pretty well in Arabic. I went to the American International School of Riyadh in Riyadh.
Slowing to 210 and we'll expect the visual for runway 23. Orbit 526. Bring the thrust back to about 50%.
How interested am I in the new, I'm guessing you're talking about Air Canada's new program that they're coming out. I'm quite interested. I can't tell you guys anything, but I know a little bit about it from my friends who work at Air Canada. And my only advice is it's not going to get worse, it's going to get better, both in terms of flexibility and how much you can redeem off of your points and the status change. So definitely a good thing that's coming. Or at least it was beginning of this year. I'm not sure how that's going to change with the situation right now.
Descend and maintain 3,000, orbit 526. Okay, we've got clearance to descend to 3,000 feet. Reduce thrust to idle and gently push forward on the stick to take us down. Pitch to about 7 degrees nose down to maintain 210 knots as we descend.
210? I'm going to do 190. Will I start a Patreon? No, I won't. I'm not going to start a Patreon. I have gotten a lot of offers for brand deals. I've not accepted any of them right now, just because this is still my hobby, and it will remain so for the foreseeable future, so don't plan on making any money off of it for right now, apart from the YouTube ad revenue. And I was hesitant to enable ads, but the thing is, if you don't enable ads, YouTube doesn't recommend your videos. So I have the minimum set of ads on. I think those would be the skippable ones at the beginning. Beanie before, you got 100k, super elite. You'll be fine. Air Canada said that they'll take care of, well, at least I've heard that they'll take care of people with status. I think instead of it expiring in February next year, they might extend it all the way until October. So I think you'll be fine. And the qualification period is going to extend until next year's March, is supposedly what's happening. Don't take my word for it, because it's still tentative, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, level off here at 3,000 feet and bring the thrust back up to about 50% N1 to maintain 210 knots.
By the way, 210 is kind of high, but alright. We're going to adjust our heading a little bit.
Orbit 526, reduce speed to 180.
There are a lot of you Swedes out there.
Slowing to
Getting
180,
close to your
orbit
bedtime.
526.
I've heard in Sweden that you
Okay,
guys
now reduce thrust
don't
a
really
bit to
have
slow to
any
180
issues with
knots.
corona, or at least
Pull
your
back on
government
the
doesn't
stick a
take
bit
any
to
issue
keep
with the
the nose from
coronavirus.
dropping.
You're still
Maintain 3,000 feet
doing
as
your
you slow
thing
down.
outside. Does AC have an internship program? Mr. Kumar, where are you? Which city are you in? That depends on which city you're in. Oh, you do? Okay. This guy's called Aiden Plays is asking what my favorite plane in real life is for the longest time. 787-10. I think that thing looks really pretty. London, UK. Okay, well you're kind of out of luck if you're in London, UK. They do have an internship program in Montreal and Calgary. That I know for sure. And, oh god, we are not lined up for this runway whatsoever. How do I juggle work and YouTube? I make YouTube videos at night. I don't come out with them that often, as you've noticed, like maybe once every 2 weeks.
Left to 230,
And I have enough time to do that. It's not that draining. Although I would say my videos take between 70 to 80 hours on average to make, or at least the last couple. The vlog I just did was a little bit easier to edit.
I see the runway. Approach
Do I follow military aviation? A little bit, yeah. I have a degree in aerospace engineering. I graduated with that, so part of the plan was to go into that, and I have a lot of friends who do work for military aviation contractors of that sort.
Pressing G and lower full flaps as we slow down. Press F7 three times.
I'm just gonna disconnect the autopilot. Okay, over controlling.
In a large aircraft like this, the speed you land at changes depending on how heavy you are. At our current weight, our final approach speed will be 130 knots. Adjust thrust to maintain 130 knots as we descend toward the runway. Press F7 twice to lower the flaps to 8 degrees. The flaps will slow us down, so bring the thrust back up to about 60% N1, so we maintain 180 knots.
Okay, I'm gonna screw this up, I know this for sure. Alright. Flaps are 8 degrees. Good, good, good. Kind of high. Go down to idle for now until we get 2 white lights and 2 red lights. And we'll push back up on throttle. Sorry, I'm going to answer your questions after I figure out if I can land a plane or not. That is this thing making noise. I do need to lube that up a little bit more.
Contact tower on 118.8.
Switching to tower now, orbit 526. Thanks. Glasgow Tower, orbit 526 with you on the visual approach for runway 23.
Orbit 526, Glasgow Tower, you're number 1. Clear to land, runway 23. Wind calm.
Clear to land, orbit 526. We're clear to land, so let's run through the before landing checklist. It's a short one. Landing gear, down. Lower the landing gear by pressing the G key.
Sync rate.
Flaps set to 45 degrees. Landing checklist complete. Continue descending. Once we're about 50 feet over the runway, reduce thrust to idle and pull back on the stick slightly to touch down on the main wheels first. Then slowly lower the nose.
Well, I am over controlling pretty. This thing is very sticky. Alright. I think I can do this.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Why is that
Don't
alarm
sink.
sounding?
Don't sink.
Do I not have approach mode on? I don't think that matters. Ooh, a little slow. A little high. Not centered. Oh boy. Did he say 130 or 180 for final landing speed. You know what, we'll have
You're
tons of them.
over-controlling. Use less pressure on the stick.
Come on, get down. I think it was 130 and not 180.
Nice landing.
Orbit 526, turn left next taxiway and contact ground on 121.7.
Ah, turn left on the
Ground
next
on
taxiway.
121.7,
I mean the
Orbit
last one.
526. Turn
Oof,
left on the
that
next
could have been
taxiway.
better.
Once you're clear of the runway, stop, retract the flaps, and turn off the landing lights. Glasgow ground, orbit 526, clear of 23.
Oh, my landing lights are already turned off. Awesome. See, thinking ahead.
We'll follow the 37, orbit 526. Okay, just follow that 737 on the taxiway. He's going to the same ramp, just a different gate.
I'm playing with the stick. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. And a throttle system. It's for a milsim, but it also works for this pretty well. Stick is the X55 Rhino from SATEC. And I got it from a friend of mine who was fed up with the CS world, and he upgraded to a better system. And also, if any of you guys would like to hang out, I know this is a tall ask, because who would want to hang out with me, right? I did leave a Discord link in the description. I do have a Discord server and a couple of friends with whom I play games with these days just because there's nothing to do. So, if you would want to join with either this game or some other game. Is this where we're supposed to be? Are we supposed to follow the 737? Oh my god. Okay, let me get to the Discord thing later. Oh my god. Okay, that guy was being very political and very polarizingly political, so we will just kindly ask him to leave involuntarily. I don't think this is the correct place. Can I ask for a push? You know what? Hey, come on. There we go, yes. Reverse thrust pushback, there we go. Each and Woo, I do remember you left a comment earlier. Thank you. Okay, if I have time and I'm in Sweden, anywhere in Sweden or Denmark, I will drop a line on Instagram so you guys, we can try to do something. Where is that 737? 35 feet behind us. Is he over on the other side? Oh yeah, he is. Alright, whatever. You have to add as a friend on Discord, I think. You know what? I'll put a better link in there afterwards. Oh god. Oh, this is not the correct way to do this. Oh, my flaps are still down. So if any of you guys follow Elvin from One More Week to Go, DM him on Instagram and convince him to do this with me. I do have a Instagram. It's just my first name. I'll add it to the description once I finish this.
Make a right turn into this area.
Actually, it's pretty easy to find my Instagram if you just look on my... those are parking brakes. Holy crap. Oh my god, I'm drifting a CRJ 700. That's totally fine. I do have to warn you though, if you follow me on Instagram, there will be sometimes things that you might not necessarily want to see. But I do spoil a lot of my videos with my Instagram stories. Ugh. Thankfully there are no passengers.
Excellent job.
Okay, well I can do that at least. Let's see what else I can do. Just give me one quick second. Okay, someone said I should do the Princess Juliana International Airport thing. Carrier tutorial? Caribbean landing. Alright, let's do this. I'll get into the more complicated stuff, and one of you very kindly sent me a couple YouTube videos on how to set up, start, and take off a 787, 737 properly. So I'll look through those when I have a couple hours, and I will come back once I know how to do that.
Lower the flap.
Oh, wow, they just come straight in at you. All right. Okay, let's do this.
8 degrees and adjust thrust to maintain 180 knots. You have the airplane. Continue flying heading 120 and maintain 7,000 feet. I'll handle the radios. You fly the approach. The airport's about 25 miles ahead of us. The approach controller will probably vector us out to the south, then give us a left turn to line up with the runway.
Flaps down to 8 degrees. Flaps down to 8 degrees. Autopilot's gauge. We've got speed. We've got heading. Altitude. 6,000? 7,000? 6,000.
World Travel 268. Contact Juliana approach on 128.905.
Going to 128.905, World Travel 268. See you next time. Juliana approach, World Travel 268, with you, 7,000.
Oh,
World
okay,
Travel
7,000.
268.
Right.
Juliana approach. Expect vectors for the visual runway 9er. Altimeter 2992.
Oh, okay, alright. Oh wait, no, that was his altimeter.
World Travel 268. Turn right, heading 130. Descend and maintain 3,000. Vectors for the visual.
130,
Right to 130 and down to 3, World Travel 268. Okay, turn right to 130 degrees and descend to 3,000 feet. Don't exceed 250 knots.
Lamau. Okay. Am I a weeb? No.
World Travel 268. Reduce speed to 180 knots.
Do a video on Saudi.
World Travel 268. Okay, slow
yeah.
to 180 knots.
Once I can go to Saudi. Is this what I do in my spare time when the world is locked down? I haven't played a flight sim since high school, which was a while ago, now that I think of it. So yeah, my Instagram is just at my name here. I'll type it in. Apologies for the pause here. I will do a video on Aer Lingus if I ever do them, if I ever fly with them. It seems like their throne seats are something fun and to be enjoyed, and it's a gimmick in the world of aviation. Also with JetBlue, I would like to try out that throne seat again and make a video, but I don't really have a reason to fly JetBlue. Do a video flying with Virgin Atlantic on their new A350s, yeah, maybe. If I'm going to... Well, my plan was next month, the month of April, to be on
3,000 feet.
3,000 feet. WestJet's 787-9 in their business class on their inaugural Vancouver to Gatwick flight, but I don't think that's happening anymore. Oh, one more week to go is here. What's up? Alvin, you should accept my friend request on Steam and come join me in the cockpit. Hi from France. Bonjour, comment ça va? Okay, you guys are actually doing pretty terribly, so I won't ask you. Okay, so since there are a couple of you in here and you've been asking me nonstop, my job right now is a full-time student, kind of. So I'm doing a MD and a PhD at the same time. I finished year 1 of my MD program last year. So this year I'm going back to finishing my PhD, which will take another 2 to 3 years. So it is in computational medicine. We do mostly AI algorithms on radiography and diagnostic imaging in a supportive, supplemental type of way to physicians diagnosing people. And the end goal is to help small communities up north.
Travel 268. Turn left, heading 100. Report the runway in sight.
Left to 100.
To help small communities in Canada and the States
100.
with maximizing their efficiency when it comes to getting a diagnosis for patients who are emergent. A lot of times in these smaller clinics and hospitals, they don't have a specialist radiologist available all the time. They have to send away their images. And we want to be able to use the power of computational medicine to help them expedite that process.
Visual approach, runway 90.
Cleared for the visual.
Am I making an investment in aviation companies while their prices are down? Yes, I think it would be sound investment advice to do so. I have no authority in this, so don't take my word for it, but I do have a couple friends who work in finance, and they said the big airlines, the unfailable ones, the ones who are in a good financial situation, are worthy of investment right now. So that would be Air Canada, who have been turning profits for the last couple of years, billions. Lufthansa is doing okay. The IAG group, not so much, is what I've heard.
All right, we're cleared for the visual approach. Reduce thrust to idle and begin descending towards the runway. Lower the landing gear and lower full flaps as we slow down. Adjust thrust to maintain 130 knots as our final approach speed.
I'm going to disengage that and do this manually. Alright. So let's put some more flaps down. Full flaps once we go down. That's a lot of speed we're losing. Why are we losing so much speed on a dive? I know I pulled down more flaps, but it shouldn't be that apparent, but whatever. What do I know? Maybe fly with ANA. I've never been in ANA's business class. I would want to give it a try. I have flown their economy offering, which is very nice. Am I interested in TAP? TAP Air Portugal, if you are a Star Alliance member, is the best airline in the entire Star Alliance network to do mileage runs with. Their business class fares are relatively cheap, and they give you 200% of the qualifying miles.
Gear, down. Flaps set to 45 degrees. Before landing checklist complete.
We're still very high. Cut the throttle and
Flight attendants, please be seated for landing.
Dive a little bit. I'm definitely not doing this properly. Do I get free business class tickets for work? Yes, work pays for our business class travel internationally for continental flights either to the US or other parts of Canada. We actually get to decide ourselves, and we most often just buy the most expensive economy ticket, so that would be the Super Flex fare on United,
130 knots on final approach.
or at least that's what it was called, and the Latitude fare on Air Canada that lets us do a lot of things, one of which is using our points, very few points, to upgrade to business, and it's a guaranteed upgrade. So it saves the company a lot of money, saves our lab a lot of money, still fly business with the added flexibility of being able to cancel our tickets. Would you ever try any mainland Chinese airlines? Yeah, the Chinese airlines, if you speak Chinese, if you speak Mandarin, offers great service, unparalleled in North America or Europe. The big ones. The small ones, not so much, but there are caveats.
Sync rate.
Oh god, okay, I should probably focus on this. Yeah, I'm way too high. God. Oh man. How do I use spoilers in this? Oh god, we're not gonna have enough runway. Definitely not gonna have enough runway. Fuck, I should go around. Come on, go down.
We'll travel 268, continue taxiing and use one of the two turning bays on the right to turn around, then make your way to the
what
terminal
are the
via
spoilers
runway
again?
and taxiway Delta. Orbit 326 Heavy, Juliana Tower, position and hold.
Position and hold. Orbit 326 Heavy.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we're empty, because we should not have stopped that quickly.
We'll travel 268, welcome to St. Martin, turn left next taxiway.
I've never heard of this airline, and from the fact that our plane is empty going into a Caribbean destination, I'm thinking it's because they went defunct from the lack of passengers. Alright, there's a turnaround bay up ahead. Let's use that. Retract my flaps. China Eastern is great. Yes, I have a friend of mine who... What the hell is this thing? Why are there signs in the middle of a taxi? Oh, that... What if you're a smaller plane? You're gonna hit that shit. Alright. I have a friend of mine who works for China Eastern as a flight attendant. What do I think is the safest airline? Most big airlines are very good with safety. I think Singapore Airlines or Qantas has a very good record. I don't remember which one it is. But there are very few unsafe airlines, and I would say that Egypt Air is one of them. Unless you're flying a bigger plane, I wouldn't recommend flying Egypt Air all that much. It's because their safety rating isn't, great, although it's still safer than driving. And it's much safer than driving in most Middle Eastern countries. Driving in many Middle Eastern countries is kind of like playing Russian roulette. It's fun until you die. Do I have a relationship with Turkish Airlines? Yes, I like them very much. They don't know I exist. What's my opinion between the narrow and wide-body TAP C product? I've never flown the narrow, but actually, I've never flown economy on TAP Air Portugal, so I can't tell you. Do I think SAS is safe? I think SAS is very safe. Do I have a girlfriend? Yes. Whether or not you choose to believe me is up to you. Well, the thing with driving in India is everyone knows what's up, so it's relatively safe in the sense that you just expect everyone else to be a maniac on the roads, and you don't really drive that quickly. Driving in countries such as Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, especially Egypt, is life or death. You're going 200 kilometers an hour, and nobody indicates, and everyone's on their phones.
Orbit
C-Class is business? Is that a European thing? J is business. C is comfort in most North American carriers. I looked at the videos. The TAP Air Portugal business class under narrow bodies, the A321 LRs and stuff, is very much like JetBlue's. Their A330s are comfortable. The seats aren't that wide, but they are very private, and they do give you a lot of shoulder space. People are subscribing quite quickly, yes, quite rapidly. And I don't know what the advice is from other people, nor the feedback. Some people have told me to ask for subscribers, and I don't really care that much. A lot of people do watch my videos, which is great. But they're just fun to make at the end of the day. Alright, I'm going to end this mission and try a harder one maybe. Anyone have any recommendations from this default list of missions? Asia Miles or Avios? I think Avios is a little bit more flexible. Mm-hmm.
Can you read this? Are you busy?
I am streaming, but there's only like 100 people watching, so I'll be back. Okay, hello. I am back. According to Elvin from One More Week to Go, we have the same stick. I don't believe I've ever shown you my penis before. Okay. You want me to fly the 787? All right. No promises. It's going to be a lot of alarms. Let's set this up. Favorite city? Favorite city overall, Shanghai. I have some family there. Love the city. Very nice in terms of how modern it is. And say what you will about China's political system, it is very safe in Chinese cities. Like, my girlfriend would feel very comfortable going out at 3 a.m. and walk by herself on the streets of downtown Shanghai, no issues whatsoever. Part of the reason why I like it so much is because she likes it so much. And the amenities that come from having a big city is just fantastic. Although hot on the heels of Shanghai would be a lot of other big major Asian cities. Tokyo. Actually, I don't like Tokyo that much. It's way too big. Osaka, Seoul, Shenzhen. Amazing. But historically, Istanbul is one of my favorite cities. Athens is beautiful. And Cyprus. I like Cyprus a lot. And the couple cities they have there, Paphos, Larnaca, Limassol, Nicosia, all beautiful places. I would definitely recommend going to Cyprus as an alternative to going to Greece. It's very similar, less crowded, more genuine with the amount of sites it has, with the sites that it does have. All right, what am I doing here? I'm going on the plane selection menu and doing the Dreamliner. Let's do the 787-10 just because I like the way it looks. I'm gonna do the United livery. I think you are right. I do remember business being categorized as C in Europe. It is J here in North America, but we're also the same continent. Or sorry, the States. In the States, they do categorize classes differently, whether it's a domestic or international flight. So F is first, and first just means business on regional flights, on narrow bodies. It's worse than business. It's very confusing, the naming system they have. Where should we go? Let's do Vegas. Okay. I can't find it. All right, let's do Vancouver, because it's very beautiful there. Although this game wouldn't show that. See, so that's the international gate. Wow, this is an older version of the world map, I believe. This game is 13 years old. Let's do spring. Okay. Should we set up a flight plan or should we just go? I think we should just go. I'm just gonna go. Oh, we are overweight. Would I consider traveling to Nepal post-COVID-19? Yes. I've talked to some friends who are from India who want to go hiking in Nepal. And I definitely want to do more hiking. I've gained a lot of weight recently from the hotel meals and business travel. So I need to find an outlet to get rid of that on. It's kind of nice though. I used to run a lot when I was younger. And if you flip through my Instagram, it's a stark contrast. And then one day I decided, or convinced myself after thinking, oh, why am I waking up at 5 a.m. to go running every morning when I can sleep in and just enjoy life by sleeping in? So I decided to do that instead. Can I do a travel essentials video? I'd have to think about it, but if I run out of content, sure. Yeah, I remember the last time I went to Greece, the last time I did a historical thing of Greece was in 2004, right after you guys had the Olympics, or if there are any Greek viewers. And I loved it back then. I was really into Hellenistic culture and like the Minoan culture back then. I still am. And going on a road trip through Greece was, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Are we inside of a building? I believe we are inside of a building. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. Am I gonna buy Flight Simulator 2020? Yes. Okay, Mr. Sach, I will find you and I'll write your name down. What plane am I flying? This is a DC-3. I think Shift P is pushback. Yes. Okay, let's see if pushback works with me this far out. Oh, I see the tug. Where is the tug going? This is very interesting. I've been following the development of Flight Simulator 2020, and our technology partners in Vancouver are Microsoft. So I got to play around with Flight Simulator 2020 quite a bit. They have a simulator there. And we use their Azure AI platform, which is their main driver for a lot of the stuff in that game. So it's really interesting to see how they manage to set all of that up. Press Y to slew away from the building. Does that work? Thank you, whoever just said that. I feel like I got trolled. Let's go to a big gate. Dun, 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 dun. Do I press Y once or do I hold it down? These things need to be specified because I'm not smart enough to figure this out on my own. Worst airline in my opinion. Oh. There are a few contenders. Air Koryo from North Korea, but you fly that thing for fun. You don't fly that with any expectations. So, can't really name a worst airline. There have been bad flights on most airlines that I fly frequently. Don't have a worst one in my opinion. Thank you. A couple of you seem to enjoy my Air Canada video. The A221. Okay, let's do this. Oh, look at that. We're just pushing back on our own. Are my engines started? I think they are. Is everything set up? You know what? We're just gonna take off. There's really no issue. These things practically fly themselves. Will I fly the 737 MAX after it's approved for flight? Yeah. I have no problems with flying the 737 MAX. If I die, I die, but unlikely. Ever flown Austrian? I think so, on a regional flight. On a A320. What's my favorite airport? Vancouver International Airport. It is probably the best airport there is in North America. Changi would be my favorite, but I don't go through there quite as often. Not nearly as often as I do Vancouver, so that makes Vancouver my favorite. I can't maneuver when I'm being pushed back by an invisible tug. So I guess we're gonna have to spool up and take our rudder control, do it this way. There we go. Have I ever flown Ryanair? Yes, I have, and I can't say my experience was that bad. I think SAS is a great airline. If you're from Denmark or Sweden or Norway, and you've only seen SAS, I'm telling you, you guys have a pretty good, solid flag carrier. But there are a lot of good European airlines. Finnair and SAS are really good. Lufthansa is really big, and Lufthansa can be a great airline to fly with if you have status. If you're a Han member, if you're in Han member circle thing, Han circle member, I don't know what it's called. If you have top tier status with them, Lufthansa's first class lounges are gorgeous. Favorite lounge? I like all of United's Polaris lounges. The food is good. I like the aesthetic. It's peaceful, not too crowded all of the time. some people have said that they do get crowded, and while I do agree with that, they don't get nearly as crowded as the United clubs do. Can I talk about Flight Sim 2020? What would you like to know about Flight Sim 2020? I've spent like maybe 10 hours with it over the past year. It runs very well, is what I can tell you. It's Shift P then one... Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Thank you. I think we should tell ATC we're taking off. But I don't really care. I'm not doing this taxi correctly. Okay, where do we go from here? What runway is this? Okay, this is a Northern runway. Let's go to the left and take off from the right. Okay. So if I don't touch anything, these things will be fine, right? Landing altitude. TCAS off. FMC message. TCAS is off. That's fine. Landing altitude. Are we in approach mode? That's great. Doesn't matter. I'll set up the heading for... Let's do 90 degrees. Let's fly along the border. Come on. And then let's do 10,000 feet. That's fine for now. Switch this off later. Let's just do this for now. We can mess with things once we're in here. It's my favorite business / first class. I haven't flown Singapore Airlines suites, but I'm inclined to say that's probably the best thing there is out there. Otherwise, it's a tie between Air Canada and Cathay Pacific for their J-class cabins. Do I mean Miles and More? No, I don't mean Miles and More. I'm talking about Lufthansa. So they have the Senator, and then they have the Han Circle members for their 2 top-tier classifications of frequent flyers. And if you can get status on either of those, then you're pretty well off with them. They put you up in the first-class lounges, even if you're departing on a short-haul European flight. And those lounges are awesome. WestJet or Air Canada? See, I'm a business traveler, so I'd say Air Canada. WestJet might be a better choice if you are a sporadic, casual flyer. Takeoff flaps? Are we empty? Yeah, I think that's enough. What did I like and dislike about Flight Sim 2020? Nothing. Did not dislike anything. It's as arcadey as you want it to be, and it's as simulational as you want it to be. So you can have Xbox players playing with sim fans. It's all one shard, so everyone's connected to the same session. It works very well. They don't have very many planes at launch. I don't think they will, but it's going to be great. The level of fidelity in each of those planes is very high. Opinions on Etihad's residents? Too expensive. It's cheaper to charter a plane if you have some friends. What do I think about Sunwing? Never flown with them. Will not fly with them because I don't really go to any of the exclusive destinations that they fly to in the Caribbean. So, given a choice, I'd fly Air Canada. I do have an Air Canada Rouge video that I want to release. It's very comprehensive. I tried out their entire fleet, which consists of only the 767 and the A320 family members. I'll release that sometime soonish. A350 or 787. They're a tie for me. They're both very beautiful planes, very comfortable to fly on. Have you ever flown Air China? I have flown Air China. Air China's pretty good. I like the food on Air China. If you like Chinese food, Air China has pretty good food. And as a Star Alliance Gold member, you do get treated very well by Air China. And they upgrade you even if you don't have Phoenix miles or status with Air China and you're Star Alliance Gold and they have empty seats left, during boarding they will upgrade you. What's my major? So in undergrad I did aerospace engineering and genetics. I got a free genetics degree after going back for a year, figuring out that I could just take a few more classes and get another degree. And then right now I'm working on an MD and a PhD. What about China Airlines? Never flown China Airlines because EVA, or EVA, however you pronounce it, is Star Alliance, and if I go to Taiwan, that is the carrier I would choose. And I think EVA has better service. At least I've been told by my friends. I really hope there's no one landing behind us. That would be not fun. I think I have everything set up to the bare minimum where I can just gun it and things will be fine. What is it? What? Okay, sorry, let's gun this. I should probably wait for it to spool up, but there's really no issue with this. Let's just max out our N1. My rotate speed? Well, I'm running on a runway, so it's whatever this is. Oh god, I don't think I put out enough flaps.
Positive rate?
Gear up.
This does not look like Vancouver. Then again, this game is 13 years old. I think those black boxes are supposed to be cars that aren't rendered, or trees. Do I only fly Star Alliance? Nope, but I fly Star Alliance if I can, given a choice, just from the benefits of being Star Alliance Gold. And give me a second. Okay, not gonna turn that on. Auto throttle that off.
Autopilot on.
Autopilot in command.
It's a reasonable speed.
Laps 5.
Okay, we'll get to 10,000 and then we'll figure things out from there. Oh look, there's traffic down there.
After the takeoff checklist?
Destination and you know what, whatever. Why am I a frequent flyer? It's because I fly very frequently. Or frequently enough to get experience. Worst landing experience? My hometown airport in China, its IATA code is WDS, Whiskey Delta Sierra. Relatively new airport. If you can find it, you can look it up on Google Maps. One of the landings I had there was less than great. Yeah, it's on top of a hill that's been cut off, and it's a very steep approach, and it's a very hard landing in the best case scenarios, the weather there is usually really bad. It's almost always an instrumental landing because there's always fog. Had a few rough landings there. What's the motivation behind choosing my PhD program? I think someone asked me earlier what my thesis is on. So my thesis is based around comparative computational analyses. How do I put this? I don't actually remember the exact wording. But in the end, when I figure it out, it's going to have to do with computer vision, imaging, and gradients for medicine. And why did I choose my PhD program? Because the first year I applied for med school, I didn't get in. I didn't get into the school that I go to here. So I thought, okay, I'll try again next year. And I needed to find something to do. Luckily, I had a friend of mine who got into a master's and PhD program, and they were his supervisor was looking for more people to be part of the team at any capacity. And then he found me, and he told his professor about me, his supervisor about me, his PI. And he said, hey, I have a friend who has an engineering background, so he's not too bad with computer science. And he has a biology degree, and he has the prerequisite courses. So that's how I got in to that program. It's kind of a little bit of an easy program, if I'm honest. Okay, let's hold the altitude. Let's go up to 35,000. And once we're there, we'll set a cruising altitude. I think we can do higher increments than this by adjusting the knob underneath it. Decrease our speed a little bit, climb a bit steeper. Which city am I from? Technically I'm from Vancouver. Technically I'm also from a city in Shenyang whose name I will not pronounce in English. It's a small city. Ever wanted to become a pilot? No, not really. Always liked the engineering aspects of planes more than I did the flying bits, after I realized that flying the plane was mostly, programming the flight and dealing with really bad situations. And if that's the case, then being a physician is much more fun. I go to the University of Toronto, and I live near the University of Toronto in Toronto. Mr. Daniel M. What's my opinion of the 777X? I think that if they had any issues with that, they'd be much more careful with it these days after what happened to the Maxes. So I think when that plane comes out, it'll be a very comfortable plane to fly in. Ever watch Sam Choi? Yes, I have, and I still watch him. I kind of do like his videos a little bit better when they were just trip reports and flights. Nowadays he does a lot of the whole airline industry stuff. So, personal preference, I guess. Oh, we're still gunning the throttle. Okay, we'll get up to 35,000. What company do I work for? I don't think I can tell you. I don't think I should tell you. It's a US-based technology firm. It's pretty big. I use their products every day. Hi, Gemboy number 2. Yes, you're not annoying. You're not that annoying. There are more annoying people who message me on Instagram. Should I book domestic business or premium economy? Says Roberto. Which airline is this? How do I go on so many business class flights? My work pays for my trips in business class. Did I intern at Bombardier in Montreal? Yes, I did, in Mirabel. Actually, I went to the Mirabel plant for 2 weeks to work on their Honeywell systems or integration. And it wasn't really anything fancy. It was me doing a lot of paperwork. But I did get to look at the production facilities and stuff. But most of it was software engineering in Toronto. Thoughts about Montreal? Montreal's really great. It's fine. It's kind of an interesting place. I really like Quebec, and I like the weirdness that is Quebec, because everyone speaks French, everyone is pretty much French, but they live North American lifestyles. They live in suburbs, they send their kids to school in their cars, they drive to work. It's really weird. Mao Zedong asks, how is this man? I'm guessing that you're referring to yourself. The Honorable Chairman Mao, the glorious Chairman Mao. In one sentence, I think he was a better revolutionary than he was a leader, a dictator, post-revolutionary chairman. So Roberto, what Jem said is correct. If you're flying Air Canada, it depends on which business class you're flying. If you're flying their signature product on their 787s and 777s and the 2 A330s that they have right now that have the new seats, then it's much better. But between domestic business, or what they call North American business class on their narrow bodies, and premium economy, it depends. If you're flying on the A220, I'd definitely point you towards that one. Otherwise, I'd point you towards premium economy on the wide bodies. It's a little bit cheaper, and it's a little bit nicer, the seats, than the really old A220 seats. Where am I flying to? Nowhere particular. I will keep going this heading until I find an airport to land at. Have I been seriously scared or frightened on a flight? No. I don't really get that scared. I flew a lot as a kid, so turbulence wasn't really a foreign concept with me. As a kid, the change in pressure, especially in those older planes, was more of an issue where your ears will pop, and that is a very painful experience. The worst turbulence I've ever experienced was on an Air China flight, 737, flying somewhere in Hebei province. I think the civil aviation system infrastructure in China means that most domestic planes are altitudes much lower than what the weather caps out at. So we were flying through a storm pretty much, and I was in the bathroom. And I was getting shaken around in the bathroom to the point where my feet left the ground because we dipped quite a lot. So yeah, that was probably the worst commercial flying experience I had when it comes to flights being scary. Hi, dry water. Okay. It is pretty down there, but I feel like we can try to do something. Can we try to land? Do I have my flight radar? No, I don't really track flights that often. And I'm a little perplexed with the people who do. I kind of understand it, but at the same time I don't. This is very pretty. I know the graphics on the ground are terrible, but from this high up I don't think it matters. Let's try landing in Seattle. See if I can find, see if I can find information on that. Going to pop us over to the south. Ooh, that's steep. Let's do 190 for now. Oh god, I don't know how to use this. I don't think that's how that works. Hang on. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Fuck it. We'll do it live. We'll find it. We'll find it with our eyes. Is that Mount Rainier? Ooh, that's nice. You're gonna say I should do a barrel roll until you saw the plane that I was in. Would I prefer Air Canada's international business class or Air China's international? Air China's international first class. The food is better on Air China. And if you can speak Mandarin, Air China service is amazing. Ever flown on a Russian airline? No, I have not. How did I complete a degree in engineering and degree in okay, so I was doing astronomy and astrophysics, which is a life and science, arts and science course, a program. And then halfway through year one, when it became time to decide on the post, I realized I could just go into aerospace engineering or apply for that, and I got into that. At the same time, I had an inclination to do something biology based, so I took some human biology courses. I only took 2 per year pretty much, so bio 120, 130. Actually no, I had IB transfer credits for bio 120 and 130. Essentially in the end, when it came about time to graduate, I realized that if I had gone back and did 5 more credits, 5 more credits, I could get a arts and science degree as well. So I did that. So it took 5 years for 2 degrees. Am I Chinese? I am Chinese. Press shift 3 or shift 4 for GPS. Oh. I think this is an add-on, so but I can just use this. Hang on, let me check this out. We're gonna hold our altitude for now. Actually, we're gonna descend to 15,000. Reduce our airspeed a little bit. I will look for SEA. Okay, it's over there somewhere. We'll just find it. What's my favorite question to ask in job interviews? I've interviewed some interns before, and I've been interviewed. I really don't have an answer. How do you get an MD and PhD degree? Well, first you have to be really dumb to go down that path. You need to know that you want to do something as a physician that isn't exactly clinical medicine. And then you go from there. I would not recommend it. I have happened to be doing it out of consequence. My 787 sounds like a vacuum cleaner. I think that's how they're supposed to sound. Press escape and then click on flight analysis to see where... Yeah, I know I can do that, but that's just cheating. When I could just zoom in this much. I think it's coming up. Oh. Okay, how do I... Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, we're actually really close to it. Oh my god. We're going to take this down to 5,000. Okay, I'm doing something incorrectly. That's why it's not doing this. Once I master the FMC, you can like real pilot in the game. Yeah, there's a huge document and someone kindly sent me some videos on how to do it. And I will look through that once I have the time. How do we line up for a runway? We definitely should plug it in, but I don't know how to do that on this plane, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it live. And I think we are very heavy to land. This is so dumb. Alright. System fuel. Oh, yeah, we are very heavy. Oh my god. Can we dump some? You know what? It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna save the environment by not dumping any fuel, and we'll see what happens. What prompted you to start making YouTube videos? My girlfriend got me a camera, and I've always liked making videos, and I kind of made them for my mom. I wanted her to see what I was up to, and I thought it'd be a fun experience because she likes to travel a lot. And then that started as that, and but the biggest reason would be to inflate my ego. Yeah, that's probably it. Worldwide transport, I promise to try harder than yesterday, although I still don't know where this airport is. Oh, okay, it looks like as if it's down there because I see Lake Washington down there. Still quite a ways away. Are we descending? No, we are descending. We are level though. This is interesting. This is an interesting way for this plane to descend. Because the throttles, I definitely don't have this set up properly. Did I intentionally go after job and travel opportunities? No, but once I heard about it, I was like, okay, yeah, so I'm okay with this. So I do actually have quite a library of games. Do you guys have any recommendations on what you would like to see me fail miserably at? Someone mentioned Kerbal Space Program earlier. That takes a lot of effort to get into because I play that with a lot of mods. What is the best seat in Air Canada's 787-9 Premium Economy cabin? 15A or K. Sorry, 15A or G. The last row on the left or right is the best seat in my opinion because you can recline without anyone being behind you. There is a bulkhead there. On the 777s-300s with one business class cabin, so the max capacity one, I wouldn't recommend the last row Premium Economy just because it's missing a window, so the first row would be your best bet. Is that the airport? Oh, that's the airport. No, that's not the airport. That's whatever that airport is. It's PAE. Is that Everett? I don't know what that is. GTA 5. Yeah, Mr. Drew. I was talking about how I tried out the new flight simulator from Microsoft, because I go to the Microsoft offices in Vancouver. They're our technology partner, so I got to try that out. It's a really nice game. I'm going to get it when it comes out. That's why I'm not getting into X-Plane or P3D. Okay, thank you. That is... I don't know how you guys know what airport that is just by looking at these 2010 graphics. Sorry, 2006 graphics. These are really, really weird. I promise to get better at this when that game comes out, when it does come out. It's supposedly very close to us. So, what I'm going to do is disengage the autopilot in a way that you shouldn't disengage it. And then just manually do this. No problems whatsoever. Oh, we're going to overspeed. Oh my god. Oh, you guys knew the airport code. Okay, makes sense. They have launched their closed beta. I'm part of that closed beta. I can't tell you anything from the closed beta. I can't stream it. And I don't have it downloaded because it's a very big game, but it's a very nice game. Fix this so you don't have to look at my taskbar. Well, then I lose that other screen, and I will fix it once I find this executable and change the borderless mode thing, but I'm running this through Steam, which makes it very hard for me to do that. Where the hell is this airport? Is that an overspeed warning, or what is that? Oh, that's the altitude indicator. Alright. Keep the spoilers on. Can't see downtown Seattle, which means on this side of the lake we'll find the airport. Oh, I think I see it. Is that in the distance? I think so. I have the render distance set up all the way to max. It's not doing much. You're in the Dreamliner. I will show you the plane once we land. Autopilot is connected. Yes, yes, I know. I can't see the airport. I should market this game as Flight Simulator X with nearsightedness. What's going on right now. I think in real life you would be able to see the airport. Oh, okay, we are a little low. We have a lot of speed, so I'm gonna put away my spoilers, get some flaps out. Use this opportunity to gain some altitude. I see the airport now, I think. Yes, alright. Let's line ourselves up. We're very low. I don't have those two Boeing planes in the flight sim. I only have this. Someone gave me this add-on or bought it for me. Okay, we're gonna have to line up a little bit more vigorously than I had thought. Air Canada thinks that you booked your ticket via a travel agent. I think that is what's happening right now. Even if you booked it on their website within the last, outside of last month, it reads as a travel agent, so I'm not sure. Their website is really weird right now. If you have a cancellation, you can't do it through the normal interface. You have to submit a request just because your system's crashed. So they have a person looking at incoming requests all the time. Unless you have the concierge number, or you have high enough status where you can actually get on the phone with them. They're still very fast. This is airport below us. Oh, that's right, I have this thing. $1 million option. Very low now. Okay. Not lined up. It's Boeing King Airfield. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
I think the left runway
Too
is a
low.
little bit
Terrain.
longer, so I'm gonna go for that one.
Too low. Terrain.
We're still very fast.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Oh, now we're
Too
too
low.
high.
Terrain. Pull up.
Oh God.
Too low.
Oh, now we're
Terrain.
too fast.
Pull up.
Oh Jesus, what's this split?
Too low. Terrain. Pull
400.
up. Too low. Terrain. Pull up.
300. Approaching
Too low.
minimum.
Up. Gear.
A little too fast.
Minimum.
Pull up. Too low.
200.
Gear. Too low. Gear.
God, this is
100.
terrible. Is my gear
Too low.
down? Oh my
Gear.
God, my gear is not
50,
down.
40, 30,
Too low.
20,
Gear.
10.
Okay, gear go down. Okay, the gear is down. Oh boy, we're not gonna. I don't have auto brake on. I don't think. No, we're just gonna do this. Oh look, that's an airplane. Oh my God, that's an airplane. Oh my God. You know what? We're fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Welcome to Seattle. We landed against the wind, sorry, into the wind, with the wind, against the traffic. It's fantastic. Okay, well I think most people have puked by now from that very aggressive turn I just made. Let me go to an outside view. Oh, we're on the grass. It's awesome. Forgot to retract my flaps. This is great. Oh wow, that is a very aggressive turn. Okay. Can it actually do that in real life? I'm pretty sure it can. I disagree with you, Drew. I like the older livery. I like it so much, in fact, that I have a plane back there, a model of it, of the old livery. I like the gold stripe. I don't like how blue the new one is. No, I'm not gonna fix the taskbar. Once I figure out the interface, I'll get rid of everything, okay? Don't worry about it. Are we talking about the United livery before the Continental takeover? Alright. I think you guys have had enough of me and my endless rambles. I might end it here. After we park up, I do have a friend of mine who is willing to come on and teach me how to fly the ERJ-175 if he has time tonight, so I might do another stream in a little bit. But until then, I think I'm gonna go get something to eat and pacify the girlfriend who feels very neglected. Hope she didn't hear that. Yes, Mohammed, I am. A Canadian one. What am I planning to eat? Food. Preferably edible food. Figure it out. Which seat would be good for the 787-9 from YVR to Beijing? Either 12 or 15 window seat, I think is K. Because leaving Vancouver and going to Beijing, the starboard views on the right side of the coastal mountains and then Alaska and then Russia is so much better than the views on the left side. So I'd sit on the right side if I can. Either 12 or 15K I think would be the best seats. Oh, 13, 14. Oh, sorry, yeah, 14. So 14K I think would be great. You're right, 15 isn't a seat. I thought it was 13, 14, 15. Instead it's 12, 13, 14. Oh. Okay. Well then. Curbside service. Look at that. We just dropped the passengers off right next to their Uber pickup. Fantastic. Wow. I wonder what it looks like inside of the cockpit. Oh my god, we are street level. We're literally on the curbside. Alright, I think I'm going to end the stream here. I will drop my Discord username in here once more. So feel free to add me on here. And until later, I will see you guys later. If only I know how to stop this stream. Oh, there we go. Okay, bye.